Pieter Cornelis Mondrian, best known as Piet Mondrian, was a Dutch avant-garde painter who liked reaching pure abstraction by reducing to the essentials of form and color. He believed that horizontal and vertical lines were basic forms of beauty that could become works of art. He painted compositions like this one that have auctioned for more than 20 million euros. And you're probably thinking, what? This guy made a fortune with some scribbles and a first shot paint bucket tool? I can do that with my eyes closed. Well, let's see you try. In Mondrian, you're going to paint a composition using primary colors and geometric figures. It's just straight lines and coloring, right? How difficult could that be?
Hi and welcome to Games on Board. Today I'm going to show you how to play this game, Mondrian, an avant-garde 2-4 player card filler where you're going to paint one of Piet Mondrian's famous compositions. This fell down, I had to put it back up. Although it isn't a complicated game, we've made two tutorials. A detailed one, this one, for the owner of the game or for whoever sets it up and explains it. Here, apart from the basics, we'll explain confusing rules and frequently asked questions that the authors of the game have clarified for us. Our other tutorial, the express one, is a simpler, shorter and straight to the point version for players trying the game for the first time. Show it to your friends, teach them how to play while you set up the game. It won't saturate them with unnecessary rules that you will explain when necessary. Let's see how it's played.
Shuffle all the canvas cards except for the white ones with values ranging from 1 to 3. Depending on the number of players, you will make a 5x5, 6x5, or 6x6 grid with the cards on the center of the table, creating a modular game board. The rest will be put back in the box. We're going to look at a 3-player setup. Each player chooses a color and receives a set of the following: 3 blank cards with values 1 to 3, a painter's kit with a palette and brush, and 2 dice of the chosen color. Any extra components are put back in the box. Roll, drop, and flick dice in order to land them on the canvases with the highest values and or best color combinations. You will use these canvases to paint the most valuable composition. The game lasts 4 rounds, and each one is divided into 2 phases, the brushstroke phase and the canvas card phase. The brushstroke phase. All players start the game with 2 dice and receive an extra die of their color at the beginning of each new round. Each player must place their dice on action icons of their choice on their palette. There are 5 options to choose from: left hand roll, right hand roll, blind roll, vertical drop, and flick. Left hand roll. The die must be rolled from outside the board boundary using the palm of your left hand facing up. Pitching it with your fingers is not allowed. Right hand roll. The die must be rolled from outside the board boundary using the palm of your right hand facing up. No finger pitching. Blind roll. Close your eyes, cover them with one hand, and roll the die with the palm of your other hand onto the board. Vertical drop. Drop the die onto the board wherever you prefer, but from a brush distance away. Place your brush on the board to determine the height of the drop. The flick. Flick the die onto the board from a brush distance away. Place the brush horizontally next to the edge of the board to determine the distance. So each player makes their choice and places their dice on the icons they prefer to use that round. This must be done before any rolling takes place. The starting player will be whoever most recently made a drawing. So the starting player will grab a die from the ones he previously placed and play the action. There is no order to follow. He will try his best to have the die land inside the board. If the flick or roll is too hard and the die falls outside the board limits, he will get one more chance to roll again. If the same die fails to land on the board again, it will be lost until the next round. If it falls within the board game limits, it will remain there until the end of the round. After the die is rolled, flicked, or dropped in a clockwise fashion, it will be the next player's turn. Now it's blue's turn, then black, then red again, etc. Dice by dice, player by player, all dice will be played. Canvas card phase. Imagine this is the outcome of all the rolls. The player with the first player token will start collecting the cards that have its dice on them. If the number on the die is either equal to or higher than the number on the card, the die is removed and the card is placed in the player's hand, leaving an empty space in the board. If the number is lower than the value of the card, you may play one and only one of the cards in your hand to add its value to your die roll in order to match or surpass the value on the canvas card. If this is done, the card used from your hand is left in its place. Once all rolls are resolved, the first player token is passed on to the player on the left, and a new brushstroke round begins, this time with one more die. You can definitely aim to knock your rival's dice off the board, but keep in mind that if your die hits another die and then ricochets off the board, it cannot be re-rolled. Any die that falls off the board will be lost. If the card value is too high, and you do not have any cards to play to add to the roll value, you won't be able to take that card. If a player has several dice on the same card, the numbers on the dice may be added to determine whether they can take the card or not. If there are multiple dice on the card, and these belong to different players, the dice with the highest value takes preference. If the player decides not to or can't take the card, the other players involved follow preference to take it. In the case of a tie, the player who rolled first wins. If a die lands touching more than one card, the player may choose either one, as long as he has preference on the card, as explained earlier. After each round, you may adjust the board if any cards have moved out of place, but leave space for the empty blocks. After the first round, it is possible that when rolling, dropping, or flicking dice, these will land on empty spaces inside the board. If this happens, the dice are not re-rolled because they are within the game board borders. The game ends at the end of round 4. At this moment, the exhibition begins. All players must count the cards in their hand to determine who has the fewest. If this player has an even number of cards, it will determine the size of the canvas each player will showcase. If it's an odd number, it is rounded 1 down. This way, the game is leveled out by a limiting factor, and the player with the fewest cards gets a chance to win. So all players finish the game with the same amount of cards, and create a composition face down on the table. Once everyone is ready, the cards are flipped over and the masterpieces are revealed. To score the masterpieces, first calculate the base score. It is a sum of the values on the canvas cards. Let's look at Red's score. 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3 is a total of 24. Then, the player who used the most number of blocks for each particular color is considered to have achieved excellence in that color, and will add extra points to their base score. So let's check for those. The red player has 2 blue blocks, 3 yellow, 4 red, and 3 black. With the blue player, we have the total of 30. Then there's 3 blue, 1 yellow, 2 red, and 1 black. And lastly, the black player, who has a base score of 24, 2 blue, 2 yellow, 4 red, and 5 black. Let's look at all the scores together. The blue excellence goes to the blue player. It's an extra 8 points. The yellow excellence goes to the red player, who gets an extra 10 points. For the red excellence, there's a tie. Players black and red both have 4 red blocks in their compositions, so in this case, nobody gets the extra 12 points for the red excellence. Lastly, the black excellence goes to the black player. That's an extra 14 points. If we add the base scores to the final scores, it looks something like this. 34 points for the red player, and wow, a tie at 38 points between the blue and the black player. There's only one way to determine who's the winner of this tie. Excellence in white. So we're going to count the white blocks in the composition of the blue and black players. Black has 6, while blue has only 5. So the black player is the ultimate winner. If at this point the tie persists, play another game.
Well, that's it. That was our tutorial. As we mentioned earlier, if you want to know more about the game itself, watch our review. If you think we deserved it, help us out with a thumbs up and a subscription. That way you won't miss any of our future videos. As always, all doubts, questions, suggestions, and petitions are more than welcome. Games on board. We do the reading, you do the playing.